So, why is alone time so important for spiritual awakening? Hey guys, it's John here in my studio at my private session desk, enjoying my time. People often ask me what's in my head. It's my skull. Anyway, um, I wanted to hop on and have this conversation about alone time. You know, In one of my early regressions, Joshua said, when you seek a path is laid before you, but until you turn the path back to yourself, you never find the doorway. In life, we tend to validate our existence by the love of others. We surround ourselves with friends and we go out, we enjoy those lovely times, and as well you should. But there comes a moment when suddenly you're alone, and some people relish that alone time, and some people are lonely when they're alone because they're lacking the validation of that love. They're lacking the validation of that person, those people that are saying, yeah, we love you. And that to me comes to a point where that loneliness comes to a point where we don't feel we are being loved, or we are fearing not being loved in some form. Society often overlooks the concept of the importance of being alone, because what happens is, you find yourself staying at home alone and you're experiencing your alone time, and society says we should get them out of their house. We should put them back out into a situation. And yeah, that's a loving gesture for someone to do. But the reality of it is that my biggest spiritual experiences happened when nobody else was around. When I went in and released the illusion of this experience, and when I felt my oneness with everybody, it was when I went within, not when I was out and about dealing with group dynamics and things of that nature. But when you look at it from the perspective of, is alone time valuable for your spiritual awakening? For me, it's essential. To me, it's an essential element of spiritual awakening because, as that quote from Joshua said, when you seek a path lay before you, but until you turn the path back to yourself, you'll never find the doorway. It doesn't say turn your path back to the group or your circle of friends. It says yourself. It comes finding your own personal divinity within. And to me, it's important. It's an imperative that you go within and love yourself as equally as you would when you're with a group. A lot of times people will put themselves in group dynamics. Specifically, they don't have to think about their own life and their own experiences. And people often find challenges in that dynamic because the second they don't have that experience around them, they fall into that loneliness and that sadness or that bitter retreat. But, when you find yourself in a situation where you can have completely spiritual experiences with thousands of people around you, realize that that's you having that experience. That's you having that alone time, even though a million people are around you. I've been on stage with a comedy partner and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people watching, and had big spiritual experiences right in front of them. But they were, because I went to myself, I came back to me and stepping into my awareness of my experience of what was going on. And, I had some massive experiences where I realized on stage that if I got into the thought process of what the fight choreography was going to be in my show, that I would mess up the fight choreography because now I'm focused on the possibility of it being wrong, or the possibility of it. And by coming back to myself saying, no, it's all good, it's all going to be great, and blanking my mind and just going into it. That happened in front of hundreds of people and a comedy partner beside me. So it came back to this idea of me having to step into my own oneness, my own alone time. But oftentimes people will give up alone time for the validation that they're loved by others. And understand you're always loved. You're never not loved. And having friends and going out and enjoying those times together is wonderful. And everyone should do that if they feel so inclined. I love to get together with my friends. I also love sitting on a beach with nobody around me, watching the horses walk by, I enjoy my time of just experiencing what I'm thinking. I sit on my back deck and I hoot at the owl out in the woods. And now you might say, well, you weren't alone; you were with an owl. I was with the nature of oneness itself. Animals are part of the oneness. The trees are part of the oneness. The back deck is part of the oneness. I am part of the oneness. And for me to come to the space of realizing that I am all one with that and being in that place of alone time with that without having the other interplays of personality around me, it was a very eye-opening experience for me. My greatest spiritual experiences happened completely alone. And that's because I was not looking for something or looking for a deeper connection with others, or trying to validate myself with how others feel about me, or I was literally just being very good with understanding that I am good, that I am part of the oneness of God, and no one is greater or lesser than me, and I need nothing. And it's the need that really kind of slows down our process. You know, when I talk about the being on stage and entertaining, um, I told the story a long time ago about an entertainer coming and saying, "John, I watch other performers step on stage, and they take 15 to 20 minutes to warm their audience up, and you walk on stage and they just love you. Why is that?" And I said, "Because I love them first." But that loving them first was a conscious, alone choice. I didn't do that with a committee. I didn't do that with a group of people. I just chose to, my own self chose, my alone self chose to just love life, love what I was doing, know I'm delivering something good, knowing that they're going to enjoy it, and just coming into that experience with that expression of just loving. And when I would do that, I would walk on stage and they would just love me in return, because that is the key to um, spiritual awakening is love, and being that love not only for yourself but for others as well. But coming back to yourself, you have to love yourself equally. You have to know that you are loved all the time. You have to know that you're connected to love, because God is love and you're one with God. And that awareness of just being, when you're alone, knowing that's beautiful. I can't tell you how many movies I've seen alone. I can't tell you how many trips I've taken alone, how many places I've been alone. And some people think that's sad. I've also been to places with people. I loved both experiences because I was not taking the social dynamic as a need or something I had to have people around me for. I was enjoying those times, and the times that we took trips together, I loved it. Had a great time, right? But I'm also not afraid to go and do it alone. I'm not uncomfortable in my skin when my skin isn't being validated. And so I wanted to come on and just talk about this idea of being very comfortable with who you are, even if somebody else isn't validating the experience for you. Um, I what I'd like to say is, if you guys are watching this video and you enjoyed this video, in the comments section, tell us a time when you were alone that really had a big spiritual impact on you, where you were alone and you were able to connect with something greater than yourself because you're alone, because you weren't having the dynamics of a group around you. Tell us your stories so that we can all share and experience the power within ourselves through your stories. And other than that, this has been just some thoughts that I had today that I wanted to share. And I want to thank you guys for being here and watching my videos. And understand, and I say this every so often on one of the videos, I'm only speaking my truth. I'm not asking you to take my truth. I'm not asking you to follow anything or anyone, including me. I'm asking you to hear my truth and then make your own decision whether it's yours. And if it's not, that's wonderful, because you have found that this is not something for you, right? But it's also something that gives you the opportunity to say, oh, I've found a truth that could take me out of a fear-based belief, or take me out into a different direction that would be more joyful, more loving, more caring, and maybe lead you to a loving life. And that's my hope for this channel, that I can share my truth, and maybe somebody else will find some truth of their own that they can choose that will bring that sort of loving life to the world. And that's how we change it, one person at a time. Anyway, guys, thank you so much, and I will talk to you soon. See you. Bye.